Welcome to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton.
And I'm Kevin Rose. Thanks for joining us on the Screensavers. This is the place, of course, where you can get your daily dose of tech, and you might just see one of us doing the Running Man.
Just as soon as we get enough cash put together, pay off
We're getting close now.
When we can pay off the remainder of the catering for the wedding, I'll Running Man all over this building.
Nice.
You keep building that pool up. You bring the cash in. We'll do it. We have a great show tonight. You're probably not going to see the Running Man tonight, but we promise you. Soon. But we got Cyberpunk author Bruce Sterling is here. And, well, I was supposed to show you the best OS you never heard of.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, here's the deal. It's really cool. It's from some folks basically it's Nitix.com as a source.
Nitix.
But the download we got, it said it was expired already. It's a trial version, and we want to find out if that's the way it's supposed to be or if...
Well, I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be.
I know, but it was still running, but we want to talk to them and get that straightened out before we unleash it on everybody.
It's a variation of Unix then, or Linux, or what?
It's a very interesting variation of Linux. I don't want to tell too much more because we're going to do the segment, but we just want to make sure the download's working right before we tell you all about it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Sarah, what are you doing on the show today?
Well, I know that a lot of people out there have Yahoo accounts. It's popular as Hotmail. It's free, web-based email. But I have a free download that will make checking your Yahoo mail on a regular basis much, much easier, cooler, also free.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Joshua,
yes,
is, of course, back from E3, as we know already. But
yes, right now I'm finishing milking this bantha here in Star Wars.
You're milking a bantha?
I'm milking a bantha right now. It's relaxing as I begin to milk it. But I'm going to show you guys, I went to E3 last week, and so I've got the highlights, some of the biggest announcements. Maybe we'll hear about Doom 3, perhaps, or Half-Life 2, so I'll show you that later.
So E3 is a video game gathering kind of show festival thing?
World's biggest, right? Universe's biggest video game conference, E3.
Cool. Very cool. And Fu, of course, is taking calls today.
That I am. Thank you, fellas. The phone number to give me a call is 888-989-7879, and the email address to email us is thescreensavers@techtv.com. And I think I should have gone to E3. Just saying that. Back to you guys.
I would have loved to go to E3.
Well,
but next year.
Someday.
Let's start with the tech news that caught our eye today. Sarah has the first story.
First story, a group of independent chip testers found that Intel's newest processors run hotter and slower than their predecessors. Intel admits they've hit a thermal wall in their chip design. They're abandoning 2 advanced chip designs to focus on overcoming the effects of heat generated by the constant on-off movement in tiny switches in their current CPUs. Analysts say that Intel's heat problems give AMD a short-term advantage.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, probably pretty frightening.
I mean, it's not cool for Intel, but it's cool that AMD has a nice little advantage here going into
they've had a price advantage halfway since forever. At least everything but maybe their top 1 or 2 chips.
Right, but now they released these chips. They're higher clock speeds.
Right.
And so that kind of sucks. You go to buy a brand new CPU, you think it's faster.
I don't know if it was actually slower in performance. That's the articles we saw were a little vague.
Yeah, a little vague.
Sometimes what we've seen is people hit a sort of a wall or a threshold of performance.
Right.
The chip's still faster, but they get like a megahertz. The clock rate is not necessarily the same thing as performance.
Right.
And sometimes the performance decreases, even though it's still faster because you've got just enough more clock.
That's the whole AMD 64 slower megahertz, but yet on par with the latest Intel chip.
Exactly, but that's because they're doing more work per clock cycle. If you start doing less work per clock cycle, then it starts to get really ugly in terms of performance.
Interesting, though.
Nonetheless, Intel's got their work cut out for them. We're going to be watching closely to see what happens with them in the next month or two.
Yes, indeed.
Next story, the FCC has approved new rules that will allow wireless communications in the space normally reserved for television broadcast channels. Tapping this unused TV frequency range will help bring high-speed internet and other wireless technologies to more users, especially those in remote areas. TV broadcasters who oppose the change, of course, fear that it might cause disruption of their signal.
Yeah, radio broadcasters, they don't want the spaces between channels used for local radio stations or for micro broadcasting. Television people are like, this is going to ruin television broadcast reception. And it's like, well,
you've heard of, they're called, what is it called, band guards, or guard bands, that are actually between each channel. So supposedly on each side of a channel, there's a certain space that is used to prevent them from overlapping each other. So they're saying that these are going to run below 700 megahertz, which means that they'll go through trees and go through walls a lot better than your...
VHF. It's a nice, long, broadcast area.
But there's some problems, though, at the same time. From what I've read, and I talked to a couple of our engineers here, is that this Wi-Fi runs with 30 megahertz of space, whereas a channel runs at, I had it written down here, a typical channel runs at 6 megahertz of space. So you need 5 consecutive channels to equal that 30 megahertz of space, plus a buffer on each side. So you're going to have a bank of 7 channels in order to perform this.
But if you're, I mean, you know, I've lived in some of the big empty parts in the middle of the country where you have like one television channel and the rest of the bandwidth is used for nothing. This seems like a nice thing to use.
That would be really cool, but it could also be a little problem. I mean, these people are going to have to pick the channels, and whoever is regulating this, whether it comes down to the local provider, if they overwrite your standard, you know, a block of channels that you don't like the neighbor listening to their favorite show too loud, so you just click your Wi-Fi unit, all of a sudden their channels are out of the picture.
Well, you know, I think this is probably going to be implemented by commercial people, or it's going to be implemented, probably going to be implemented by either community groups or something like that. It's going to be, it's not like you're going to be able to walk out to CompUSA and buy a 700 megahertz, you know, broadband wireless system.
So let's just hope that they regulate it the right way. And
listen to you, you're like yeah, protect the broadcast, big money.
I'm just saying, I would hate to, you know, lose people to lose their channels. I mean, that kind of sucks.
But if there are no channels, it's a nice use for bandwidth.
That is true.
You know, or you know, how many people don't have cable or a dish at this point?
That's true.
You know, I don't know. You got a point. We don't want to see people's, you know, Friends reruns getting stomped on.
That's right. Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome. Have yourselves a merry little show.
We'll do our best.
Good.
Corey joins us on the NetCam Network from Menasha, Wisconsin. Are you feeling merry, Corey?
Yeah, but it's Menasha.
I'm so sorry, Menasha.
Well, that looks really distorted.
How's Wisconsin? Yeah, it does look really distorted. It looks a little freakish, actually.
You're looking blue and...
Move your hand around a little bit. Sometimes that helps. It kind of refreshes the screen.
Oh, wait a minute.
There we go. There we go. That's not so, well, that's really nice.
You got a nose now.
Yeah.
Oh, there with the nose again.
So how's Wisconsin this time of year?
It's vaguely out of focus.
Well, it's pretty crappy. It gets warm, then it gets cold, and it gets warm again.
Yeah.
So what's cold? Is cold like 2 degrees or like 40 degrees?
40 maybe. In winter, it's like, you get down to maybe 10 below.
Oof.
So, you know, 40 seems kind of warm compared to 10 below. So how can we help you today, Corey?
Yeah, I was wondering, because my grandpa, he wants to get, since he has a dual processor motherboard, he wants to get 2 smaller processors, 2 866 megahertz, and he has a 1 big, you know, gigahertz processor. And if he did that with the dual processors, he said he'd give me the gigahertz processor, so it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it's a great deal for you.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if dual processors, even though if they're a little bit smaller, would be a lot better than having 1 big chunky processor.
So you're saying is like 2 866 megahertz processor equal 1, you know, 1.6 or 1600 megahertz processor? No.
How fast was the other processor? Was it a 1 gigahertz or did you say 1.6 or?
It's 1 gigahertz.
1 gigahertz. So 2 866s, given the right application that can take advantage of dual processors, would be faster than a single gigahertz processor.
However, most of your applications are going to run a little slower because basically, right, you can have a, you know, you got Windows XP Pro, right? So Windows XP Pro or some other operating system can take advantage of dual processors. Not all applications can take advantage of dual processors. You know, Leo used to be like, yeah, I can burn a CD-ROM while I'm compiling a program, and one goes to one processor and one goes to the other because the operating system is smart enough to do that. You're not really going to notice that performance so much if you're, say, you know, have a half dozen browser windows open or if you're using Word and Excel.
Now, if you do have a specific application that is really processor intensive, on a dual processor machine, you can hit Control-Delete, right-click on the process ID, and assign it a microprocessor. So that's what we do in our LAN party machine. Sometimes when we run multiple games, we'll give each processor its own game to run.
That's cool.
And it's actually helped out performance-wise for us. But like you said, you don't want to take the time to do that. Most applications are not written specifically for that.
Yeah, very few. I mean, unless your grandfather does a lot of 3D rendering or something like that.
Photoshop or things of that nature that actually support those.
You know, they have to be threaded applications to take advantage of the dual processors. What kind of stuff does your grandfather like to do on the computer, Corey?
Believe it or not, he has the most powerful PC in the house, and all he does is play card games like Solitaire.
You know? I think you should let him keep the 1 gigahertz processor, and you should take the 866.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, actually.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be comparable. Normally, the truth is most dual processor applications are the kind of stuff where you want to spend as much money to get as much processor as you can. If you're 3D rendering, if you're using Photoshop, if you're using audio editing. For most everyday applications, you're probably not going to see much difference, Corey. Okay, man?
Thanks for the call, Corey. And of course, you get the Tech TV t-shirt for being, I had no idea where that was coming from.
Today for once.
I know, normally they hit you. There it is right there. Very common question. A lot of people want dual processors.
I know, but we just need applications that actually dual processor and 64-bit operating system and so much more. We're just getting started. Joshua brings you the inside look at the E3, the world's biggest gaming convention. And after the break, Bruce Sterling's going to share some insights from his new book, The Zenith Angle. Stay tuned.
Brought to you by OLM, web hosting at your service since 1996.
OLM.net presents more true tales from the World Wide Web.
At OLM, our web hosting customers say it best.
We started with another hosting company, and they couldn't care less about us.
We're a small business, and OLM treats us like family.
OLM was probably the best business decision we made for snickerdoodle.com.
Become part of our family. Visit OLM today or call 1-877-2OLM-NET. Over 200,000 websites. OLM.net.
First, I won. Cool. What prize you win? Well, if you won, you must get a prize, right? Oh, no. Congratulations on your no prize, didn't win nothing victory. Oh, man.
Hey, I won a game reel at Blockbuster.
Looks like you playing the wrong game, brother. Show him my motto. Play Sprite's Thirst Out Under the Cap game. 1 in 6 will score cool stuff like free game and movie rentals at Blockbuster. Music downloads, even ringtones. You're still a winner to me. Really? No.
Hey, honey.
Hey, just think of what we can do with all the money we're saving.
Well, I have been giving it some thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Prices you gotta see. Right now at Circuit City, get this Fujifilm 3.2 megapixel digital camera with 3x optical zoom for just $199.99 and get a free 64 meg memory card, a $39.99 value instantly, only at Circuit City.
I'm Lynn, and I use Yahoo Hot Jobs. I'm a recruiter at a major aerospace company.
I am Robert on Yahoo Fantasy Sports.
Primarily, we do aerospace and defense type work.
You have to have defense.
I have postings for facilities specialists,
I usually go with a quarterback
weapons designers,
or running back.
engineers.
You gotta have a balanced team.
Our company is about protecting America.
You wanna play some ball, then let's play some ball.
Job engine, sports engine, life engine.
On June 29th, take New York for a spin. Spider-Man 2, the game, rated teen.
Looking for a new job? Look to the tech leader first at the G4 Tech TV Career Center, powered by DICE. Just log on to g4techtv.com/techjobs and instantly search for tech job openings around the nation. Post your resume or create a job alert to receive fresh jobs daily in your email. Look to the tech leader first. The G4 Tech TV Career Center, powered by DICE. Available right now at g4techtv.com/techjobs.
Tech TV and G4 have come together. And you can get in on the action with G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes. You could be the winner of a $100,000 tech makeover for your home. From bedroom to living room, the G4 Tech TV experts will tech out your home. It's G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes starting June 14th. For more info, log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs.
We got a treat for you right now, especially for the science fiction fans in the audience. The Zenith Angle has just hit store shelves. We got Bruce Sterling here to talk about and give us a little preview of his latest book. Welcome to the Screensavers, Bruce. Or welcome back, I should say. This is an interesting book. You basically got a geek who gets a job as a spook. The villain turns out to be a dot-commer or dot-commie, depending on how you're feeling about it. Where did this come from?
Mostly from hanging out with geeks and spooks, Patrick. There's never been that much difference between the two of them, really, and they slide into one another, really, pretty easily.
That's one thing you point out is like you've got everything when you're talking about computer security and in the wake of 9/11 is like the big focus of the book, but you tie it in really interesting ways to what used to happen at the Skunks Works for I guess Lockheed Martin and developing planes, and just how entire levels of technology have been developed and either disposed of or forgotten of because nobody was allowed to talk about them.
Right. Well, there have been people hanging out, technical people have been hanging out with the feds doing the hard work of the military for a long time, and my hero is from a long history of these guys. And I just thought it was time to have a techno-thriller where a true geek is a two-fisted action hero.
Well, yeah, even he gets into a fight with a.
Oh, he gets into more than his share of fights. He finds his inner beast when he goes into the service of warfare.
Is this a warning for other geeks that they should watch out for their inner beast, or just calling them to go out there and beat up military people?
Well, it's something of a warning, but I think cyber war is war, and information warfare is warfare. And if you go and work for the military, you will become militarized. That's just the nature of the business. It doesn't matter how many times you hit the F1 function key.
I mean, it's people like going back to like the missile silos in the the 50s and 60s and 70s. It's like, yeah, you know what you're doing, right? But they made this very bland room. There's like what was it? A, B, or C was one of the I can't remember which missile program it was. And one of those means a city in some continent, right? But you don't know. It's just you get your orders. You look through the book. It's like, okay, Velta, hit button A, it launches it. I mean, it seems like people tend to detach when they're talking about technology. I mean, whatever they think of, laser-guided bombs, versus somebody, wiping out the economy of a small country. I mean, where do we start thinking about cyber war or information war? When does it get more real?
I think the key to that problem is that people make war with the way that they make wealth. People go to war with what they know how to do in everyday life. So yeah, there was a small elite who were trained to launch missiles, but you never had a missile in your house. Everybody in the world has got computers in their houses now. Information warfare, the trouble there is a general trouble. I mean, let me just read you my filthy handkerchief full of computer scandals here. I had to keep track of them because it's just a mess. Sasser, Netsky, Witty, Code Red, Slammer, phishing, ID theft, spams, scams, DOS.
Right.
This is like ants eating the elephant here. You never saw this problem with nuclear technology.
Right.
This is a really intimate technology. It's in our homes, 24/7, 365. It's just a different kind of battlefield.
One of the things you have a lot of fun playing with, you kind of beat on the idea of laser-guided missile defense systems. It's like one of the great, you kind of keep coming back to it as like a half boondoggle, half brilliant scientific problems to solve. It's like even the big super weapon at the tail end is kind of a variation on that.
Well, I did this article for Wired on space war, which was one of the inspirations for this book, and I went inside the Beltway and I was hanging out with people who imagine space war threats. And there's a definite science fictional vibe to these characters. It's just that their audience is the Pentagon rather than the general population as it is with a novel like this. But they're inventing ideas of things that adversaries might possibly do and then trying to get funding for it and start up a weapons program.
If somebody comes with an idea with you for a network of computers that's designed to survive a nuclear blast or cutting of the wires. I mean, it's what the ARPANET becomes the internet, but it's it's the late 60s, early 70s. Does this sound like a boondoggle to you, or does it sound like a legitimate weapon?
I'm absolutely certain that sounded like a boondoggle to a lot of congressmen, which is why it got done by ARPA, which is a very obscure, small group. I mean, ARPA had a very interesting structure. They would fund stuff just for short amounts of period. They do it quickly, they do it quietly, they do it on time, and they never let a bureaucracy bog down at ARPA. And more innovations have poured out of ARPA than pretty much any other area of our military-industrial complex, just because it was structured that way.
But we actually go through the rules of that a couple different places.
Well, they didn't have congressmen sort of dropping by at ARPA and saying, gee, can we get some money for my district? Which is what you get with a weapons program or a bomber and so forth. And that's why these things take forever. Yeah, it's pork. They got porked to death. And, most things in the military do get porked one way or another because it's just a lot of money. But there are areas of the government that are a lot more fast-moving than that, and they're generally the temporary ones that are made of amateurs, like the Manhattan Project.
Right.
A bunch of guys pull them in from all over the place, put them out in the desert, get them to work, never look away, never get a distraction, never read a newspaper. They accomplish a miracle. If you try to do that through the conventional congressional budget process, we would never have made a bomb. I mean, we'd still be sitting around saying, gee, I don't know, what kind of casing?
Or we'd be speaking Japanese.
Well, we'd be doing something or other.
Something slightly different.
It's a very weird world, the military-industrial complex. It's just full of stuff that fell off the edge of the table and that people have forgotten about. There are more things that the National Security Agency has forgotten about than you could shake a stick at. It's just like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Big warehouses.
They hammer the wooden crate shut and just sort of push it into a dark corner.
Oh, man. Speaking of odd occurrences, you're blogging now for Wired. What are you doing? I don't really connect you with being a blogger. It's just on the flip side, I also think I've read some of the most peculiar things. The Dig Media Project back in the day, your stuff about trench art. I mean, but
man, I'm digging my blog. I mean, I write novels. This is like my 13th book here. I've only been blogging for a couple of years. I mean, blogs are fresh and interesting to me. It's like doing stand-up comedy. It's mostly quips and blurbs. It's, in a blog, you don't have a rising climax and a romantic interest and the part where the guy gets the girl at the end.
You don't have to write
like,
300
look at that weird thing. Look at that weird thing. Holy cow, I can't believe what I just saw there. My blog's a surf blog.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it's full of material that's too weird even to make it into a science fiction novel.
Which is really, having read this recently, you've got some pretty out there stuff in here. For more of it, where's the blog at?
Well, man, I have to tell you that the most out there stuff in that book is stuff that actually exists.
That's
the
really
stuff that I made up. The stuff I made up in there is just stuff that sounds plausible.
I'm scared. Where's the blog located at?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's tucked away somewhere in Lycos, the bowels of Lycos's, worldwide system there. It's blog.wired.com/Sterling.
I think we can find that.
That's the address. You can just Google it, man. Just Google anything. I've got almost 250,000 Google hits now. If you quote Bruce Sterling, unquote, on Google, it's like 200,000 hits.
I'm not even going to go there. Bruce, thank you so much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to meet Bruce in person, maybe coming to a town near you, check out the dates on the screen and check the screensavers.com for the links. Still to come, E3 is over. Brentano's got the highlights up next. Mike, our next caller, wants a video card. Find out if he plans to save some cash in the process or if it's a bad idea. Coming up when the Screensavers continues.
This portion of G4 is brought to you by Hertz. It's your trip. Rent wisely.
At Think Smartly Rent-A-Car, we have a special service just for small businesses. Petey. Petey will help you find your car faster. No sense of direction? Let Petey point the way. And Petey has specially trained pals at all 3 of our suburban locations. We'd love to offer you more, but who do you think we are, Hertz?
Hertz offers small businesses #1 Club Gold, never lost, and over 1,000 suburban locations. It's your trip. Rent wisely.
This is Bobcat 36 from weapon enemy camp. Coordinates for airstrike as follows. Ridge, Echo, Hotel. Over. Overwatch. This is call to implication. Over.
I began losing my hair about a year ago. Is it ever gonna stop? What caused it to fall out anyway? Let's say I'm ready to do something about my hair loss. What are my options? Why me?
It's hard to know what to do when you start losing your hair. That's where Bosley comes in. For over 25 years, people have turned to us for answers to their questions about hair loss and hair restoration.
So what is natural hair restoration? Where does the hair come from? Is it permanent?
Does the hair actually grow?
To find out, just call this toll-free number. We'll send you this free video and comprehensive guidebook that give you the real facts about hair loss and the choices you have for dealing with it. Financing is available. So call now and discover how Bosley has advanced the science of natural hair restoration, how they use your own living hair to fill in the thin spots. You'll also meet people who were once losing their hair and see what they looked like then and now.
But here's the big question. Do you think my barber will remember me?
Learn about all your options. Call now and get the information you need to determine if hair restoration is right for you.
With G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes, you could win a $100,000 tech makeover for your home, plus $500 daily cash prizes. From start to finish, bedroom to living room, we'll make over your home in the hottest tech stuff out there. To enter, watch G4 Tech TV anytime between 6 p.m. and 1 a.m. and look for the secret codes. Then log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs and enter the code. You can enter up to 4 times a day now through June 27th. For more details, log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs. Brought to you by Circuit City and Yahoo.
Mike joins us on the phone from Clearwater, Florida.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
How about yourself?
I'm doing all right tonight.
How can we help you?
Well,
Thanks for taking my call. Love the show, you guys. My question is this. I'm building a new gaming machine for a LAN party that we have coming up. And I work at Circuit City, and I notice all the time we have these off-brand graphics cards that they're like Vision Tech, Ecstasy, Radeon 9600, you know. They're really great cards, but they're super cheap. And I want to know what's the difference between those and buying one like OEM directly from ATI?
That is a great question.
Yeah, the OEM, I mean, basically, right, you know, have you ever seen what an OEM card packaging looks like, Mike?
The actual box itself, where it's got, like, Radeon on the top.
Yeah, or sometimes, actually, the way they just ship them is they ship giant racks of... Oh, there's no card in here. I'll just put that back together. Well, imagine, if you will, a graphics card, you know, in a one of those little non-static sacks, and it maybe has you know, any cabling that would normally come with it, and
maybe a little disc,
disc
stuck to the outside of it.
Usually, actually, it's just rubber banded on the outside of it, and they just ship those out in giant piles.
Yeah, an entire case of them out to a manufacturer. They just put them into machines.
You know, they used to find a lot of cases where there would be special versions of cards made up for system vendors, but the truth is basically there's a box version which comes with a box and a manual and big giant pieces of foam inside the box.
But I think he's talking about, now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but are you talking about just the different manufacturers, not specifically the OEM version, but you like Vision Tech and things like that?
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I noticed the Vision Tech ones are like half the price of buying the same Radeon card.
So yeah, that's a good question.
It doesn't come with the ATI brand. It used to, a long time ago, right? Almost all there were chip manufacturers, and then there were companies that bought chips and, you know, soldered them on boards and developed drivers and sold them to people, right? And then over the past 5 years, basically all the chip manufacturers bought up all the board manufacturers.
And then there was two.
And then there was two.
And ATI.
Yeah, well, and Matrox.
And Matrox is still for
and a couple ones that you've even heard less of about. And then what happened was ATI kind of said, like, well, you know what, let's start selling chips again. It's another source for our product. But, you know, in between those two stages, the vendors, basically the chip vendors, started coming up with standardized designs for the PCI cards or later on the AGB cards, because they basically found out, like, engineers were wasting a lot of time copying the original chip manufacturer's design and sometimes messing it up. So to ensure the quality or the reputation of the product, they kind of standardize as much as possible.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see they do it a little differently. I've noticed that you'll have different heat sinks from vendor to vendor. And also, it's funny because we had somebody in here from Micron. Now, you may know Micron as the people that make memory. They're a huge memory seller, but they were actually... They also make video cards now, and they're video cards from ATI.
Right.
And we were talking to them after the show, and we said, you know, is there any difference between the two cards? And she goes, well, it's funny. Our engineers laid them out a little differently than the ATI model, and we're seeing a couple frames per second difference. We're not sure exactly why. We're working on getting it fixed, but there was a couple frames per second difference. But other than that, other than the heatsink, you're really not going to notice a difference. Buy the cheaper one, as long as it says, you know, you have the ATI logo on there, so that you can ensure that what you are getting is actually ATI.
You know, it's also good, you know, Tom's Hardware, HardOCP, ENunnTech.com, Tech Extreme. Look for the website to do a lot of, you know, major roundups of new boards. Compare them. You know, they're really good about testing them. You know, the truth is, like the man said, you're probably not going to see much of a difference, Mike.
Save some cash, which is always good.
Yeah, put it
here's
in memory.
Sarah with a quick tip.
That's right. Windows is known for cryptic stop errors, blue screens of death, but luckily Microsoft has a webpage dedicated to troubleshooting those exact problems. Go to oca.microsoft.com to view the Microsoft Online Crash Analysis site. All you do is send in your error report, and Microsoft should send you the info on the nature of your problem and how to fix it. Hopefully they do. Now, don't go anywhere. Find out how to save your bookmarks with our next caller. And after the break, Joshua Brentano is going to show us the hottest announcements and titles from this year's E3 when the screensavers continue.
New juicy fruit grape melon. Cool.
Ah! Wait, what are you doing, man? Mine.
Gotta have Twisted Sweet. Gotta have the Twisted Fruit combinations of new Juicy Fruit, Grape Melon, and Schrappleberry.
You can make a great salary by getting IT certified now with Smart Certified Direct's fast and easy training courses. Their self-paced MCSE, Cisco, and A+ certification training allows you to study whenever and wherever you want with 24-hour access to certified instructors. Take a free training course title now by visiting www.smartcertifieddirect.com or by calling 1-877-TRAINING and mentioning code TECHTV. Get your free course today.
Get 3 free for a limited time at Gateway. Pick up select wireless notebooks and we'll double your RAM, upgrade your hard drive, and ship it all for free. You can take home one of our award-winning PCs, like the Wireless 200X with Intel Centrino mobile technology, and get a mind-bending 512 megabytes of RAM, an upgrade to a massive 60-gig hard drive, and shipping all for free. So call Gateway today for your 3 free on select notebooks.
Tech TV and G4 have come together. And you can get in on the action with G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes. You could be the winner of a $100,000 tech makeover for your home. From bedroom to living room, the G4 Tech TV experts will tech out your home. It's G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes starting June 14th. For more info, log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs.
There's only one award show for gamers, G4. Where wondrous celebs, heavenly bands, and gaming's biggest awards come together in a paradise for players. Join us for the ultimate gamer celebration. Watch it only on G4 Tech TV. G4, sponsored by EB Games and Jeep.
Welcome back to Screensavers. I'm Kevin Rose. Coming up in this half hour, Leo will join us to help him spice up your webpage with any random quote. And Sarah shows you how to get your Yahoo Mail from a pop account for absolutely free. But now, last week, Joshua went down to E3 in Los Angeles. Yep. You're so lucky. Yes. And you got a glimpse at all the hottest upcoming gaming announcements. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the day I've been waiting all year for. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm at E3, the world's biggest video game conference. They have everything from software, consoles, products, anything you could want are in this building. Let's take a look. We are here at E3, and there is so much stuff to look at. Let's start off with the hottest announcements. Everywhere I look, there seems to be a mobile gaming device. It's the year of the handheld, and the Nokia N-Gage is no exception. Tell me about this. Well, I'm not a mobile gamer. Why do I want to play the N-Gage?
The N-Gage QD and the original N-Gage are unlike any other handheld out on the market. This device is actually enabled over mobile phone systems, you can play in the N-Gage arena over GPRS. It's a simple data plan. You can do text messaging, you can do email on this device, and certainly playing games is a big part of how we connect with people worldwide.
How many titles do you guys have so far?
We've announced well over 50 titles. The games themselves are sold separately on multimedia memory cards, and as you know, those cards range anywhere from 8-bit, 16 meg, 64 meg, 256, so we can really pack a lot of power into these games.
Another one of the big players in the mobile gaming or handheld gaming market is, of course, Nintendo, and they have their new DS. Give us a little overview of what the DS is.
Well, this is the new Nintendo system. It's got 2 screens. Right. It's got 2 new inputs. It's got backwards compatibility. It also has 2 different processors. So it actually does true 3D.
Give us a little tour of the device. You said it has 2 new inputs and some new features on it. Kind of show us what they have.
Sure. The input that I'm going to be showing is actually the touch screen. You see, I can do it with my finger. I can also break out a little stylus here. It's really smooth, and it feels really good.
When can we buy this thing? When are we going to be able to get it?
We're looking at the holiday season, so it's going to be available this holiday season.
Can you believe it? It's another handheld. Give us a little tour of the PSP.
What stands out the most about it is this amazing screen. It's really entertainment at the core, I should say, including games, movies, and music. We're introducing a new proprietary format, UMD, the Universal Media Disc. And that features 1.8 gigabytes of capacity, which is very nice. You can have a full-featured film on that disc. You'll see some familiar buttons here, very similar to the controllers on PS2, and it also features an analog stick here. Obviously, people know these controls and they love them.
So when can I buy this? When's it going to be on the shelves?
PSP will be available in Japan by the end of this year, and in North America and Europe in the first quarter of 2005.
Tell us about EverQuest 2.
EverQuest 2 is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game set in the world of NORAD 500 years after its predecessor, EQ Live. We're a parallel online universe.
Tell us the coolest new features of EverQuest 2 that leave the people that played EverQuest 1 just drooling as far as gameplay goes.
We have action, action, action. The combat's going to be a lot faster. The downtime's going to be minimized. You're going to be fighting a lot smarter AIs. They're going to learn from their mistakes. We'll have thousands of hours of gameplay. So that just gives you a magnitude order right there.
That's one thing that I play Star Wars Galaxies. Hours hours and hours and hours of it. But the problem a lot of people run into is, I ran out of content. I ran out of content. How do you constantly keep that flow of content coming in?
We're working hard to put a lot of content in at the base, but we're also focusing, one of the main focuses for EverQuest 2 is on the action and on the adventure. So you have to think and be tactical, and you're going to gain skill like that. We've been running the game for 5 years, so there's a lot of information we can draw from. But basically, we've designed the game to go out beyond level 50, you know, up to level 200, basically, in terms of our systems. We may not actually get there in terms of the players, but that way we can balance and tune, you know, with that in mind.
When can I start playing it?
When can I start playing it? Well, 2004 will be the year for that.
We've all waited and waited for the anticipated release of Half-Life 2, but Valve has irked us year after year without a solid release date. When can we play, you ask? We still don't know. In the meantime, let's see what's cooking with Doom 3. Doom 3 is one of the most widely anticipated games people are waiting for. Tell us about it.
Well, it's basically a retelling of the original Doom with our new technology, the new Doom 3 engine. And one of the cool things that we can do is really bring cinematic quality, almost pre-rendered style visuals in real time now. So you're able to play through an interactive horror film.
Now, Doom 3 has kind of been long awaiting. We've been seeing glimpses of it on the internet and hearing bits and pieces about it. Why does it take so long for Doom 3 and games like this to finally reach the market?
It has been a long development schedule. We've been working on it for 4 years now, which is certainly longer than we intended. But I think what we've used the time to put the game in the shape that we really wanted to deliver the experience that we sought out, which really just to scare the heck out of players.
When are we going to see this on the shelves? When can I buy it?
Well, we announced on Tuesday that the PC game is going to be coming out this summer, and then after the PC version is done, we'll have the Xbox version ship sometime thereafter.
So apparently, Alienware has some sort of top secret video card setup in here. I'm going to see if I can get in. Can I take a look? Will you let me in? Now, Alienware has a new system that has 2 video cards, and you think, hey, that's not a big deal. It's easy to put 2 video cards in a machine. But these 2 video cards, number 1 are PCI Express, and number 2, one's painting half the screen and the other one's painting the other half of the screen. Nelson, show us what you guys have going on here.
Basically, we have a next generation motherboard here that we co-designed. We have 2 video cards that are PCI Express and 2 PCI Express graphics slots. Over here, we have a video merger hub, which is our piece of hardware, which is synchronizing the signals between these video cards and outputting it to one monitor. I'm gonna turn one off so you can see one half of the screen being generated by one video card. I'm gonna turn the other one off so you can see the bottom half being generated by the other card. I'm gonna put them both together and you're gonna see one signal seamless to the eye.
When can I buy this?
Late Q3, early Q4.
We've seen a lot of stuff at E3 this year. It certainly seems to be the year of the handheld. We've seen console stuff, we've seen software, we saw EverQuest 2, we saw Doom 3. There is a lot of killer stuff here, but my favorites are still to come. We're talking about...
Yeah. That looks awesome. The Alienware PC.
It's really cool. The Alienware guy said that the performance increases of 50 to 70% over
50 to 70%.
50 to 70%. Yeah.
So that's going to be the machine to have. You're playing like Doom 3 or something like that.
Right.
Can we expect to see other motherboards come out like that? With
Not sure. That was they co-designed that one. Right. Exactly. And it has an 800-watt power supply in it.
Wow.
So that's crazy.
Does it need 800? Did they say that?
They said it then. That's what you have to have. And there's no clue how much it's going to cost. It's probably going to be like $6-7 grand. I don't know. It's got to be expensive.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's cool though.
Yep. And awesome. so these that I showed you here are some of the bigger announcements in the show. Tomorrow I've got some of my picks, my personal favorites that are there. They're a little different, a little not mainstream games, so I'll show those off tomorrow. Yeah.
I want that PC. Now stay where you are. Sarah shows you a program that makes checking your Yahoo Mail from other accounts a whole lot easier. And after the break, Leo joins us with a quick tip to add quotes to your favorite webpage when the Screensavers continues.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Let's make it real.
His parents went out of town, so we had a party. Pete had every intention of making it a special evening, which is good because the kids had a lonely summer. He had a crush on Megan, and the only time he did get a chance to move in, his mom showed up, made him come home. After that, Megan started feeling sorry for Shane when he broke his arm. Then Pete had his eye on the next-door neighbor, but Rob bought a vet, so she was pretty much his. Even Randy had a chick, and that dude never showers. Just when it seemed like this might be Pete's night, right on cue, she shows up again. Amazing timing. My advice to the kid, get a car, break your arm, and stop telling your mom where we're hanging out.
Engage. Anyone, anywhere.
It's an enlightening thing. It's about knowledge, people.
It's a chance to interact with Microsoft directly. As a live person, you feel like you're actually a partner with the company. You have a chance to ask questions and get a direct response.
It is worth the time investment you take to have your employees come down and look at these products and utilize these different shortcuts and things like that.
This is great because it gives us a one-on-one, and then if you have any questions, the presenters have always been really good about emailing.
Would you like to share my popcorn and soda?
Yes, I would. Thank you so much.
Okay, no, thank you. It's the least I can do.
Questions that come up are things that potentially are things that we haven't thought of or I haven't thought of.
And it's a free seminar, right?
Oh, not to mention, absolutely. Absolutely free. Absolutely.
And would you suggest other people come?
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Call 877-MS-EVENT or visit technetbriefings.com.
Are you paying mortgage rates as high as 5, 5.5, or 6%? Then call 1-822-LOAN HUD and put your money back where it belongs, in your pocket. Call Loan HUD today. Offered on ballot in all states, subject to verification.
Hear 100% commercial-free music on the most listened-to satellite radio service, XM Satellite Radio.
If you're thinking about refinancing your mortgage to lower your monthly payments or to cash out equity, call or click on to Ditech.com. Right now, Ditech is offering a $395 flat fee home loan with 0 points that may save you thousands of dollars in closing costs. Let Ditech take the mystery out of lender closing costs. Get the $395 flat fee home loan from Ditech.com. Just call 1-800-DITECH-1 or apply online at Ditech.com.
And now it's another Digital Digs code to win a $100,000 tech makeover from G4 Tech TV. Get ready, here's the code.
Imaging.
That's the code. Now log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs and enter the code word. And watch G4 Tech TV anytime between 6 p.m. and 1 a.m. for more codes and more chances to win. G4 Tech TV's Digital Digs, brought to you by Circuit City and Yahoo.
Let's check in with the fine folks over at Fresh Gear to find out what's coming up tonight.
Well, hello.
Hey, Stephanie.
It's me.
Hi.
Hi. God, everybody's still talking about E3 and games.
They are. We just had a huge demo. We just had a nice little segment Joshua did for us.
I was watching it. Joshua did a great job.
Yes, indeed.
Fresh Gear is no exception. We're also talking about E3 and gaming fun. 2 days and 1,000 square feet of gaming. Some would call it heaven. Yep. Just returned from E3 to bring you tonight's Fresh Gear Gaming Special. I scoured the floor of E3 and came up with the coolest gaming gear, including a customizable multifunctional chair. That means you can play your entire library of games and never leave your chair. Yep, laziness taken to a new level.
That's awesome. I'm glad that we sent so many people over there because there's just so much to see at E3.
It's a huge
There's no
show.
way we could have covered it all.
It was crazy. I had a blast. I'd never been before.
So are you going to start, playing a lot more video games at home now, or are you just afraid of the whole concept?
I used to be afraid because my brothers would just set me up for defeat every time they asked me to play with them.
So you choose the Whalers. Take the Whalers in the NHL hockey.
Actually, I was getting into it. There's a lot of fun games out there.
Very cool. Thanks, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Stephanie.
That's what's coming up on Fresh Gear tonight, right after Tech Live, which is right after this show.
I do the same thing with Sarah. We always play Tetris. I end up winning. It's awesome.
I hear she's made
Why are people laughing when I say that?
Because we've heard that she's made some bank off of you on Tetris.
No.
Oh, boy. And now let's just go straight to Leo with a quick tip.
Hey, Leo.
Thanks, guys. A little tip for webmasters here. People ask me on my webpage, how do I get these random quotes at the top? Every time you refresh the page, you get a new quote. Or you should, anyway. You get a new quote. Well, maybe it's not working. Actually, it's because it's caching it. So every time I refresh the page, a new quote at the top there. Now, that's done by a little Perl script. And I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing. Your host will have to support CGI programming, Perl, or you can do it in a PHP or another language they do support, and server-side includes, which almost everybody who runs Apache servers will do. So here's the first thing you do is you use the server-side include command. Include virtual, that means run a program external from Apache, in this case a program living in my CGI bin folder called QOTD, or Quote of the Day. It's a simple little Perl script. In fact, let me show you. It couldn't be simpler. I got it from the Perl cookbook. It's just wonderful. This is the line that does all the work. Basically, it opens a file that's also in CGI bin called quotes.txt and puts a random line out into that web page every time the page is called. This is my quotes.txt. I have hundreds of fun quotes in there. You could put anything in there as long as each quote is on a separate line. The little Perl script will pull a line from that, and then using the server side includes, it'll pump it out onto your web page so that every time they go there, you can have a random quote. You can also use this to put random pictures up. I do that on my blog. It's a really clever little trick, and it's not hard to do. All the details, everything you need to know on the web page. I wrote a little article for you at thescreensavers.com. It's not hard to be a web master if you know the tricks. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Leo.
That shirt. Needs another shirt.
Yes, indeed. Now, after the break, got a Yahoo email account? If so, Sarah's got a free download to save your day. That's right after these messages.
This portion of G4 Tech TV is brought to you by Blockbuster. Make it a Blockbuster night.
Flip it this summer. Rent as many games as you want.
Flip it.
For as long as you want. Play a game, then flip it for a new one. Flip it with the new Blockbuster Flip card. Rent it, play it, flip it. $49 is all you pay for 3 months of unlimited games. Game all summer for less than the price of the hottest new games. So get to Blockbuster now and Flip it. Rent the hottest games today, like Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. Play it, then flip it for Splinter Cell, Pandora tomorrow at Blockbuster now.
Introducing the Chevy Equinox. Every garage will want one. An American Revolution.
Peace, y'all. We're Blackalicious. Yahoo. Yahoo. I use Yahoo Search to find other Republican Party animals to party with. Hip-hop is a way to express yourself. So that's what it's all about. Partying, rapping, Republicans, DJing, money.
I think the thing that's really cool about Yahoo Launch is that it makes music accessible.
And I'm taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the street.
Music engine, search engine, life engine.
Tech TV and G4 have come together. And you can get in on the action with G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes. You could be the winner of a $100,000 tech makeover for your home. From bedroom to living room, the G4 Tech TV experts will tech out your home. It's G4 Tech TV's Digital Dig Sweepstakes starting June 14th. For more info, log on to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs.
Players, next.
For our successful TV and radio campaigns, America's largest manufacturer of steel buildings is offering huge savings on select models.
My husband wanted a building where he could store all of his valuable belongings. Well, I wanted something that would look great on our property. We both found what we wanted at U.S. Building.
They're durable, long-lasting, even fire-resistant.
Thanks to their easy-to-read step-by-step construction manual and excellent customer support, our building was constructed in 1 weekend.
These specials won't last long. Buy now and save. Call U.S. Buildings today.
Saber 1-5, this is Bobcat 3-6 from weapon enemy camp. Orders for airstrike as follows. Ridge, Echo, Hotel. Over. Overwatch. This is Call 2 in position. Over.
G4 Tech TV is giving away a $100,000 home tech makeover, brought to you by Circuit City and Yahoo. For the next 2 weeks, G4 Tech TV is collecting entries.
Watch every night from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern, now through the 27th, and look for the sweepstakes commercials because they contain secret codes. Every time you see a code, go to the website and enter.
And remember, for all the news in the world of games, make sure to watch what you play, right here on Pulse.
Be sure to catch tomorrow's show. Bert Monroy is back with an amazing tip to better your Photoshop technique, and you're going to learn how to upgrade the HD in your replay TV. That's your hard drive. Plus, Joshua is going to give you his top, more obscure gaming picks from E3. It's all coming up on tomorrow's Screensavers.
Yes, indeed. Now it's time to check in with the P-Tipper.
That's right. What's up, everybody? A few of you may have been lucky, like I was, to get one of those highly coveted Google Gmail accounts. But if you haven't, one of the most other popular web-based email accounts is a Yahoo account. There's Yahoo and there's Hotmail. I like Yahoo because it always seems less spammy, and of course it's free and you can actually send bigger attachments with Yahoo. But what if you want to access your Yahoo Mail through a POP server using Outlook or Incredimail or any of those other email clients? Well, right now Yahoo charges $20 a year for that feature. If you're paying that, you're getting ripped off because today's download will do the same thing for free. It's called Yahoo Pops. Free download, totally free, and all it does is let you get your Yahoo email from your client of your choice. So here's, of course, the web-based Yahoo email. What I've done is I have set up in Outlook Express, because Outlook Express is an easy one to use with any Windows system. And what I've done is I say I'm going to send and receive. It says, okay, I'm connecting to Yahoo Mail, and I'm going to receive one message of one. It's something that I forwarded to myself. How did I do that? Well, Yahoo Pops is running here in the system tray. That's all you'll see, this tiny little area down here. Otherwise, it's completely seamless. If I just right-click on this, I'll show you how I configured it. Here is where, if you were to click on your, if you were to log into your Yahoo account on the web, you have a bunch of options in your properties menu, right? How to receive email. Do you want to download emails from the inbox folder, or the bulk mail folder? That's kind of a nice thing with Yahoo Pops. You don't ever have to see your bulk mail when it's in Outlook Express or whatever your client is. Empty trash on exit. Download only unread emails, stuff like that. For sending email, you can choose, of course, to keep a copy in your sent items folder. That's all very basic, but you're not done once you've done that. The next thing you have to do is to choose your client. Now, for example, I use Outlook Express, and I'll show you kind of how I set up. I set up a new account, but I added some different properties than you normally would when you're just adding, a POP account. So we'll go into properties here. I just called it Yahoo Mail. And I've put in my name, I've put in my email address for Yahoo, so it knows kind of who I am. But my incoming and outgoing server is localhost. So that is what you use for Outlook Express. It's a little bit different depending on what your email client is, but this part doesn't change. The very important part now is that my outgoing server, I have to use, my server requires authentication. And in the settings, I add then my username and password again, the same way I would to log into Yahoo on the web. So I'm actually doing the exact same thing. It's just that I have this nice little interface that's doing all the work for me. So it's actually going, okay, let me log in, let me password, okay, let me download, and I just don't have to use my browser at all. So that's great. Now, let's say that you're saying, well, this really doesn't help me at all because I have a Mac or I'm running Linux. Well, it does, because Yahoo Pops will work with Windows, Linux, Mac, even Solaris for you three people out there. And if you want to go, once you download the Yahoo Pops program and you click in the help area, it has a really good help menu here. As you can see, the mail clients that you can use are like Incredimail, Calypso, Mozilla, NPOP, Outlook Express, Outlook XP, Outlook 2000, Pegasus, Eudora, Lotus Note 6, and Microsoft Mail 4. So, and depending on what you want to use, you just go through that help menu. It tells you how you configure your account in your given email client of your choice. It's very easy, and it works, and it's free. So if you want Yahoo Pops for yourself, go to my Download of the Day article. Where?
Screensavers.com.
I'm just trying to get a little love. You'll get information on all the other email clients there, too, if you have any questions about that. Back to you guys.
Cool, cool. Now, here's Dan with a quick tip. Thank you, Kevin. Control-Alt-Delete is one of the most ubiquitous shortcuts of all time. But what does it do exactly? Go to the screensavers.com/show notes to read Patrick Norton's article on the history and mechanics of the Control-Alt-Delete shortcut. Fascinating. Also, follow the links to optimize your Windows services on your PC, and we'll add a bonus. But here we are, checking your inbox, see what's on your mind when the Screensavers comes back.
Come see the show in person. If you're going to be in the San Francisco Bay Area and you'd like to join the Screensavers live on the set, go to www.techtv.com/ticketline for information and to request tickets. Go there so we can see you here.
Fully independent rear suspension. 5.7-liter V8, 346 limited slip, for impressive balance, great agility, crisp handling. Rear-wheel drive is back. The 350 horsepower Pontiac GTO. Fuel for the soul.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You know you're wrong, right?
Yeah.
Hearts or puppies?
Hearts and puppies.
She replied to my email yet?
Oh.
How about now?
Oh.
How about these?
How about these?
Ballet?
Works every time.
That was good, right? Ballet?
Life's better with the Butterfly. Come see all the ways you can get more done at MSN.com.
Saber 1-5, this is Bobcat 3-6 from what the enemy camp. Orders for airstrike as follows. Ridge, Echo, Hotel. Over. Overwatch. This is Call 2 in position. Over.
I wanted my own reliable web server, and I didn't want to pay too much. I got it at Server Beach. Dedicated servers, only $99 a month. At Server Beach, I get a dedicated Windows or Linux server on a Cisco network with no setup fee and all the bandwidth I need. Total control is mine. Quality hardware, solid network, great price, all from a company that knows what they're doing. Want a web server for only $99 a month? Go to Server Beach.
G4 TV for gamers and Tech TV are connecting to form G4 Tech TV. Stay connected. For more information, go to g4techtv.com.
It's that time. Sarah, what's in the email pile?
The first email comes from Azrael, who says, "What is on Sarah's shirt? We're unsure if it's dandruff or some weird design like paint or something." This is fashion! This is fashion!
Excuse me,
You know,
what's
I'm
that?
actually going to be completely honest. This woman who did the, see? It's not dandruff, it's very cool bleach, strategically placed on both sides of my shoulders. This woman who was acting as sort of a wardrobe stylist bought this for me, and I wear it because it's expensive. That is my answer. All right, moving on. Justin wants to know, I was looking at the music service from Walmart and noticed that it was in the WMA format, which is not supported by the Apple iPod. I was wondering if it's possible to convert the file, burn it to CD, then rip it to the MP3. I want to play these songs on my iPod. Can you do it?
I'm still stuck on the fact that she gets expensive wardrobe and we bring in our own shirts.
You know,
where all my money goes. Where all my money goes.
See, Kevin bought it. He's the wardrobe stylist.
No, I am not. Do not start that rumor. I have nothing to do with wardrobe style. Look at me. I wear the same thing every day.
Well, it's that or a T-shirt. You got two things. And you got more than one
We
black
each have
T-shirt.
like 10 shirts and like 4 pairs of pants. I think that's about it.
Oh, yeah, some like 2 pair of pants.
We need to get a wardrobe stylist. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's the wardrobe screensavers.
Bleach lovers.
Didn't they add the ability to convert WMA into AAC in the last version of iTunes?
Correct. They did add that ability. So as long as it's unprotected.
Yeah.
If it's protected from Walmart, then there's not going to be able to get around that. But if you have an entire collection of WMA files, it's just a click of a button, it'll convert it.
Right.
You are going to get some quality loss, because anytime you convert an audio format, especially from lossy to lossy, you're going to lose some information there. So
the other thing you can try to do is you could burn the WMAs into a regular CD, then you can rip the files off of the CD and then recompile them in AAC, but it's going to be the same problem. You're going to lose quality. Basically, you're kind of stuck until somebody comes up with a way to unlock WMA to transfer to an iPod.
Yeah, from what I understand, though, I've read some of the rumor sites. The job says no way. They're never going to put WMA on the iPod. So
I wonder why not.
I wonder why not.
Next one.
Next one from Nick. On the segment where you showed how to make cheap Wi-Fi with the homemade antenna last week, can it be used to receive a Wi-Fi signal instead of sending one?
Well, yeah, it automatically. Anytime you have a Wi-Fi connection at either end, the antenna is used for both receiving and sending. There's no such thing as a one-way Wi-Fi antenna. So it automatically...
What about the laptop? Is there a way to make an adapter for that? So that
I've seen some people create like little parabolas that they've glued on the back of the kinds that stick on the back of your PC. You can play around with designs, see what you can do. With the laptop, usually end up using an external antenna.
That's it for this edition of Screensavers. I'm Kevin Rose.
And I'm Patrick Norton. Thank you for joining us. We'd like to thank our guest, Bruce Sterling. And we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.